When I think about watches and I think about the term trading up, I think of a couple of definitions, a couple of things that fit that sort of terminology. Today, I just want to talk about one specific meaning that sort of really relates to me. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. And if you watch my channel, you'll know that most of the watches in my collection are more affordable watches. Not all of them, I have a few that are slightly less affordable, but realistically with my budget, the amount of money that I'm comfortable spending on watches, they tend to be of more the sort of budget affordable watches. And that's caused me a little bit of a problem sometimes when I've bought some affordable watches. Affordable watches that I really like, that I've really thought through the decision, that I really like the look of. But when they arrive, I stick them on wrist and I love them. Now you may think, well, that's not a problem, is it? But I seem to have this thought that comes up occasionally. It's when I'm wearing these new watches, and it happens fairly soon after they arrive, I look at them and I think, wow, I love this watch so much, maybe I should buy a better version of it. Maybe I should trade up to a better version of the watch that I'm wearing. Now, I very quickly identify that that's not the right thought to have. I've just bought a watch that I really enjoy. I need to enjoy that watch that's on my wrist. So that's what I do. And very, very quickly, that thought goes away. And I'm very glad that that thought goes away because I've just put this time and energy and money into a watch that I really like. I need to actually enjoy the watch that I've just bought. The other reason I think it's good that I dismiss that thought is because quite often those watches that I absolutely love in that moment, and possibly over the next sort of few months or few years, I end up selling. Now, if I end up selling an affordable watch and losing a little bit of money, I'm okay with that. If I'd made the decision early on to spend a lot more money on another watch that has that same sort of look or feel, and then I fall out of love with it, well, then I end up losing more money. So I'm glad that I don't actually follow this thought. But there's one style of watch that I never thought that I'd actually really like, and that was pilot watches. I'd seen pilot watches, I thought they looked okay. I had no intention to really own one or buy one. They didn't grab my attention. But when I was sort of started this channel, I thought, well, I can sort of open myself up to other styles. Maybe I should buy myself a pilot watch. So that's exactly what I did. But I've put my time and energy and research into it with the idea that I'm going to buy one and be done. That will be my pilot watch. Or that will be my experience with the pilot watch. So after a whole heap of thought and effort watching reviews, I bought the Escapement Time Type B Flieger. And you know what? It's an amazing watch. I love that watch. I love that watch much more than I expected to. The quality of it, the design of it, the size of it. But what I found is that I really like the style of it as well. And that surprised me. And I had that thought fairly quickly of, wow, I actually really like this watch. Maybe I should buy a better version of it. But as I always do, I dispelled that idea because, hey, I've just bought this watch. I really like it. Wear the watch. And that's what I did. Just like I do with all the watches that I buy, I enjoyed it. But there was something different about this one. This one stayed on wrist much more often than other watches. I wore this watch a lot, much more than I expected. And this went on for months. And then it went over a year. And this thought of, well, I really love this style of watch, this Type B Flieger, maybe I should trade up. I didn't do it straight away. I thought about it a lot because I knew that this Type B Flieger has a certain look to it. And no matter sort of how much money you're spending on a Type B Flieger, it kind of looks like a Type B Flieger. But for the first time ever since buying any watch, I actually decided to trade up. And that's when I bought my Stowa Classic 40 Type B Flieger. Now this watch costs almost 10 times the amount of that Escapement Time. And what's interesting is I don't like it 10 times the amount, but I think I made a really good purchase, a really good decision to do this. And in other times, if I had done this with other watches, I think I would have made a terrible decision. But today, owning this Stowa now, I made the right decision. Financially, I'm not so sure it is worth the extra money, but it's worth the extra for me because I love it. Because I know that this Stowa is going to stay in my collection forever. So although the Escapement Time is a great watch and I really like it, I wasn't sure if I really wanted that particular watch long term in my collection. But the escapement time, when I looked at it, I thought, do I want the escapement time in my collection for the rest of my life? And the answer was sort of no. I wanted something a little bit better, a little bit nicer, a little bit more refined with a better movement. And that's when I went on to search for what I would like to replace it with. And I'm so happy that I end up with a Stoa because it is beautiful. It is well made, there's heritage attached to it, it looks a little bit different, it's a little bit thinner, and the movement is beautiful. So I'm not sure if you're going to agree with my decision to trade up from the escapement time Type B Flieger to the Stoa Type B Flieger, which at a glance certainly looks the same, but it's a decision that I'm really happy with. Have you guys ever had this thought about wanting to get a better version of the one that's on your wrist? Have you ever gone through with it? Leave me a comment below. I'd be really interested to hear. But if you like this video, maybe check these two out next.